still on vacation, nestled deep within the embrace of the majestic redwood forest, I feel compelled to bring you another video, one I hope stirs something within you, whether it inspires, it motivates, or simply just resonates with a part of your journey. My hope is that it connects us in some meaningful way. I've always believed that despite our unique paths, that we actually share a common psychology, a tapestry of emotions and experiences that threads us together as human beings. And right here, surrounded by these ancient sentinels of time, that belief feels even more profound. These redwoods, my old friends, stand tall and unwavering, whispering wisdom only they can offer. They tell me to be still, to let go of the noise, and to simply be. They gift me their oxygen, fresh, rich, alive, and invite me to breathe deeply. Their rustling leaves create a symphony of calm. Their earthly scent anchors me to this sacred moment. They remind me of something so easily forgotten in the chaos of our lives, the beauty of presence. These towering giants with their endless roots and skyward branches are speaking peace into my soul, urging me to listen, to let their stillness renew me. So join me today, here in this sacred space, as we explore not only the art of capturing the world around us, but also the deeper truths it has to offer. Let's dive in. You want it to be perfect. Every detail just right. Every brushstroke. Every word. Every shot flawless. And you tell yourself, if it isn't perfect, it isn't worth sharing. But here's the truth. Perfectionism isn't a high standard. It's a trap. It looks like ambition, but it feels like anxiety. It pretends to honor your creativity, but it actually suppresses it. And if you're not careful, perfectionism will rob you of the very joy that drew you to create in the first place. Let's talk about the trauma of perfectionism as a creator, how it steals your joy, why embracing the real over the ideal is the only way to truly honor your creativity. So let's talk about the lie of perfectionism. Perfectionism whispers things like, this has to be flawless. It promises validation, success, maybe even love if you can just get it exactly right. But perfectionism, it doesn't deliver, it demands. And no matter how good your work is, it will always tell you it's not enough. When you choose perfection, you're not striving for excellence. You're running from fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of not being good enough. But here's the irony. Creativity doesn't come from fear. It comes from freedom. And perfectionism kills that freedom. Now let's talk about how perfectionism steals your joy. Think about the last time you were lost in the process of creating, the joy of experimenting, the thrill of discovery, the satisfaction of watching your vision come to life. Now think about the times perfectionism crept in, the doubt, the second guessing, the endless tweaking. When you create under the heavy hand of perfectionism, the joy of the process disappears. Creativity becomes a chore, a source of anxiety instead of inspiration. And the worst part? Perfectionism isn't about the work. It's about control. It's about trying to shield yourself from vulnerability, to avoid the risk of being seen as less than perfect. Now let's talk about healthy pressure versus perfectionism, because they're very different. Let's be clear. A little pressure can be really good. It motivates you to improve, to push yourself, to create work that you're really proud of. But there's a difference between healthy pressure and perfectionism. Think about this. Healthy pressure says, I want this to be great. Perfectionism says, this must be flawless or it's worthless. You see, healthy pressure inspires you to grow. Perfectionism paralyzes you with fear. Creativity thrives under healthy pressure because it embraces the journey. Perfectionism, it kills creativity because it obsesses over the destination. Now let's talk about embracing the real over the ideal. Here's the truth. The ideal exists only in your mind. The real is what you create with your hands, with your heart, with your soul. The real is messy, it's imperfect, it's human, but it's also alive, authentic, and meaningful. You see, when you let go of the ideal and embrace the real, you honor your creativity. You let it breathe, you let it grow and surprise you. And here's the beautiful thing. The real is often better than the ideal, not because it's perfect though, but because it's honest. Now let's talk about how to let go of perfectionism. So how do you break free from perfectionism and reclaim the joy of creating? Number one, set boundaries. Give yourself a deadline or a limit on revisions. Perfectionism thrives in endless time. Don't give it that luxury. Number two, celebrate progress. Instead of focusing on what's missing, celebrate what you've accomplished. Progress is always more valuable than perfection. Number three, embrace your mistakes. Mistakes aren't failures. They're part of the process. Often they lead you to make your work even better. Four, share early. Don't wait for your work to feel perfect before sharing it. Sharing is part of the process, not the final step. And number five, reconnect with joy. Remember why you started creating in the first place. Let that joy guide you, not the fear of imperfection. So here's a challenge. The next time perfectionism whispers in your ear, tell it the truth. You don't own me. You don't create to be flawless. You create to be free, to express, to connect, to discover. Honor your creativity by letting it be real. Let it be messy, imperfect, human. Let it reflect your journey, not some impossible ideal. Because the joy of creating isn't found in perfection, it's found in the process. And that's where your creativity will always thrive. Chasing perfection feels noble, but it keeps you frozen, trapped in an endless loop of not good enough. The ideal whispers that your work must be flawless, but in truth, it's the cracks and imperfections that make it human and alive. When you embrace the real, messy, flawed, and honest, you step into a space where creativity flows unburdened and authentic. It's in the raw, unfinished edges where people connect, where your work becomes more than a product. It becomes a story. And when you let go of perfection, you discover that the courage to create is far more powerful than the need to create perfectly.